There was no scolding or judgment, except at times when it actually led to a self-realization. So it was never for the sake of scolding or embarrassing or humiliating you, except if that could cause you to wake up in some way. But it's a way the Master would teach us how to be aware of the smelting process. He wouldn't come in and say, "Oh, you blew it, foolish person. Shame on you," and scold you. And he wouldn't even say, "You broke your precepts." There was no scolding or judgment, except at times when it actually led to a self-realization. So it was never for the sake of scolding or embarrassing or humiliating you, except if that could cause you to wake up in some way.
Sometimes people get the impression that Shifu was very fierce all of the time, and I would say 95% of my experiences with Shifu were with him being incredibly kind and patient. That even if he was telling me that I was doing something wrong, he did it in a very gentle way. Or if he was fierce and he scolded, I think the part behind the scenes that people didn't see was that there was always a gathering back in. Once you got the point, then it was gone. And I will mention one thing. At one point, Shifu said to me, and this was not unusual, he asked our opinion a lot. He said to me, "So, is there anything that I do that you don't like?" And of course I was terribly embarrassed. How could I as a disciple tell Shifu there was something that I didn't like? But Shifu wouldn't let me off the hook, of course. Said, "No, I'm serious, I really want to know." So finally I said, "I really don't like it when people get scolded and then everybody, sort of shuns them and doesn't talk to them, and it makes me feel afraid." And he just looked at me and he said, "It's just temporary. It's just until they get the point." And I think that's very important, that if he did scold people, it was never to hurt someone. It was always to help them, and always, if nothing else, would wake them up. He never scolded people just because he liked to scold. It was, if that was what would help you, he might be really fierce for a moment. If you needed someone to be very gentle, then he was very gentle. But his heart was always in the place of trying to help you and to try to have you suffer a little less and be happy. And I think that's the other thing that I want to say, is he really wanted us to be happy. There's nothing in the Bodhidharma that says that people should be miserable. We should delight in the joy of the Dharma. And most of the time, that is what he communicated, was that incredible joy in studying the Dharma.
My dad said about him that he was like one of the guys that was the happiest guy he'd ever met, and they were out there just laughing it up. My dad and Master Hua were laughing it up there in the back of the monastery for an hour, or something like that.